I'm Christina Matheson. Welcome to the Power of Connection. My super duper best guest today is Brigitte Malik. Brigitte, she's got her hands in so many different things, and I want to have her explain to us all of the stuff that she does because, like some of the guests that we've had before, it's amazing that one human being can get all of these things done in one day. So Brigitte, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, Christina, for having me. So excited to be on here and for such a great reason.
Well, I am happy to have you. We talk all the time about the power of connection and how our network and our resources and the people that we meet are so important. And I know that, that you started out a while back with inspection boys. Like, was that your first foray into this? How did you start with this whole web of really cool stuff?
So no, inspection boys was not the first.
No.
The first was insurance inspections. So actually the first was actually doing mortgage delinquencies, where drive-bys, if somebody was delinquent in their mortgage, we would do drive-bys because the bank wanted to make sure their investment, their asset was still standing. So I used to do 100 drive-bys a day. And my goal was if I did 100 a day, I'd make $300 or $400 a day. I can't even remember, right? And that's where I started off. So I started off like doing like 50, and then I got to like 70 and 80, and then I got to 100 a day. And I was making 3 times, almost 4 times what I was making in Manhattan, which is why I left my Manhattan job. So I started with that, and then doing the mortgage inspections, it just became a lot of wear and tear on my car. And I was making good money, but I wanted to keep making good money, but not have to do so much wear and tear. So then I started with insurance inspections. I remember back in the day, I used to do, I don't know, maybe like insurance inspections is different, but I used to do maybe 100 to 200 cases a week. And I'd come home and I would just be working 10, 12 hours because the inspecting part is easy. Now you got to get it into the insurance companies and write all the reports and all of that. And I loved every minute.
This was all you, or did you have a staff?
This was by myself. This was by myself. And I loved every minute of it because I was on my own. Like I didn't need anybody. Mm-hmm. And but my ultimate goal was, the reason I left my job in the city was because my husband and I wanted a family, right? And we wanted a family on my terms, meaning, so it sounds selfish, but I wanted it where I could control my schedule, So
that's not selfish, by the way. That's intentionality. So you planned that.
Yeah, exactly. So then doing that much volume by myself was not reasonable because how could I scale it? So then I went into like, how can I scale this? So then I started hiring my first employees and doing all this stuff. My first inspector still works for me to this day. And he's amazing. He's come and go, like he's taken time off and then he's come back, and but he's absolutely amazing. And insurance inspections changed. Like it just, we went from me doing it to all of a sudden doing 2,000 plus inspections a month. And that took a long time to get to that point. But I also saw like insurance inspections like New York getting more expensive. It wasn't the end all be all. I knew that, okay, if I want to keep staff happy and people, my growth is very important to me. So if I want to keep people feeling like they're growing, I needed a way to scale it and do something differently. So then that's why I started looking at becoming a licensed home inspector. So, oh, by the way, when I had my daughter, I was still working in the hospital. I was answering phone calls while I was pushing and emails and everything my husband wanted to kill me. So I told him that'll be the first and the last time that ever happened.
I'm sorry, I have to have a baby now. I have to call you back.
That's exactly what I said. I really said that to somebody. I was like, okay, they're it was a mess. And but after that, I came home, and from the hospital, my mom was there. Thank God. I went through really bad postpartum, and I had so much work. The person I had trained for like 6 months to handle all my responsibilities just totally flaked on me, like just totally. So I was expecting to take maternity leave. No, never took maternity leave. Came home from the hospital. I am answering phone calls. I am scheduling appointments. I'm doing everything. And I was very overwhelmed. Plus, dealing with postpartum depression, it was very, very, very hard on me. I was crying about everything. Like if you took my drink away, I would start crying. Like it was so ridiculous. And so about a few months after my daughter was born, I went to my husband and I said, I want to get my license as a home inspector. He was like, why? And I said, well, instead of getting paid, such a low fee from insurance companies, now I can get paid XYZ. And I'm offering more growth to the inspectors now, because I saw some of my inspectors, they were going to, in a few years, I wasn't going to be able to promote them and start giving them raises still. So started the school with home inspections, went to school in Queens. We only had one car. So my husband would come straight from work and then come pick me up and then take me to the class. He'd go home, feed the baby and take care of her. And then he'd come pick me back up. And it was in Glendale. So it wasn't like super, like if you know Queens, Glendale doesn't have really trains.
Yeah. Off the beaten path.
Yeah, exactly. And so I did that. And then one of my last nights of home inspection school is where I met Matt. So Matt is my business partner with Inspection Boys. And he's this guy that comes in, like, if you don't know Matt, like he's all tattooed up and, he's always wearing like baggy pants and all this stuff. And he walks in and, he starts saying what he's doing, that he's going to be an instructor. He's opened up a school in Long Island. And I don't know, like just something like he piqued my interest, right? Like I was like, okay, is there something about this person? I really need to know him and I really need him to be my friend. Right. So I got into the car and I told that to my husband, which is so weird to say now that I think about this all these years later. And my husband's like, if you think that there's something there that can help you grow in a business, like by all means, do what you got to do, see what it is. So, fast forward, Matt and I own the Inspection Boys franchise together.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, Matt's better at the years. I want to say like 7 years ago, maybe. Yeah. Well, no, my daughter's going to be 7. So it's almost 7 years ago, almost 7. So, fast forward, Matt and I own the Inspection Boys franchise. We have 32 locations right now. We're really growing really fast, and Inspection Boys is our baby. Like that is our baby. And then we have Main Street Success, which is our real estate school. And that's growing really fast too. We've hired a lot of extra help right now because it's growing so fast and we need help getting all these additional states approved and we need the manpower and all this stuff. Then, Matt still has the home inspection school. So we still have that. And then I also have other businesses in different states too. So home inspection companies, we've done this whole thing of acquiring businesses and doing all this stuff. My mom's involved, my brother's involved. So it's just kind of turned into like a big family affair now, which I absolutely love every minute of it. And, I have really big goals for Main Street Success, and Inspection Boys and Main Street Success. We have a dog grooming company that's about to start. We have a tax company we opened and a bunch of other stuff that we're bringing. And it's just about diversifying and building your assets and cash flow. That's really what it is.
So I knew that I would be amazed, but I'm really, really amazed because here's my question. How do you get so much done? How do you do that? And did you plan, do you have an actual plan?
Yes, I have an actual plan. I have a 1 year, 5 year, and a 10 year.
Mm-hmm.
So each one is very different, but they all lead to the same thing. And I'm very big, I'm very goals driven. So like I was looking at my goals I have for this year and I was like, all right, I got this one. And, yeah, I definitely have that. The most life-changing thing I could say that really changed my life and perspective is a book. And it's called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
And that is the best book. I literally took that book, read it like 3 times, and I just started implementing that book. And then also there's a bunch of franchise books I've read too, because now I realize I am a systematic person. I can build any business you give me And as long as I have a system to follow, I will get that up and running in no time.
So you're a big advocate of the franchise.
Yes.
And is it because those systems are already created? Tell me about that.
So Inspection Boys, none of the systems were created when the brand was built. Me and Matt put every single one of those systems into place. And, you know, there was a
So
lot
you're
of,
the originator of Inspection Boys?
yes,
Wow.
yes. So everything that I like to say, like everything that franchisees do, I've done already, and I've already proven it. And then they just take it and they replicate it. So I'm big on that.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you figure out that what you were building, like when you started to build it, did you intend to franchise it? Was that your
So
intent?
no, Matt literally came to me and said, "Hey, I know this guy. He's this big, you know, franchise guy. He has a bunch of franchise locations and he has this great name for a company. And I want to, you know, make Inspection Boys a franchise." And I'm like, "I don't know franchising." He goes, "No, but you're really good at building businesses." And he was like, "We'll learn it together. It'll be trial and error. It won't be for a while until we hit success." But, and I was like, you know, I had to talk about to my husband. That was a long conversation because I was a big commitment financially and everything.
Right.
And I was like, all right, let's do this. And we all were learning together and we made a lot of mistakes. We spent a lot of money and we learned what doesn't work, what does work. Then a few years ago, I want to say in 2020, I want to say, it might have been 2019, maybe 2020. I don't remember the exact year. Matt is way better at dates than me. Matt got a message on LinkedIn from John Hewitt, which if anybody doesn't know who John Hewitt is, he started Jackson Hewitt and Liberty Tax, and each one of them well over 2,000 plus locations for each one of those brands. And, you know, when he sold all those, I mean, John was, you know, I'm sure he's worth more now. I don't know. I don't ask him those questions, but when he sold all those, he made like $500 million or more, you know? So this guy is reaching out to us and, you know, so Matt was talking to them and then Matt goes, "Hey, he wants to meet us." So we all drove to New Jersey. I was so nervous that whole car ride. I was like, oh my God, like, what is he going to say? Like, why is he interested in us? Didn't know what to do. And we're sitting down with him and he was the most coolest, humble guy. And he's like, "This is what I'm proposing. This is what we could do. And if you guys join us, we'll be there to help support you and get you to that next level of growth," which we really needed because, you know, me and Matt were good at doing this, but we really needed more knowledge in franchising to really be more successful. So we joined partnerships with loyalty brands. So now loyalty brands is like the franchise. On the franchise side, there are other partner with Inspection Boys franchise. And it's been amazing because I've learned so much. Like the fact that I have like John Hewitt's cell phone that I can text him like, "Hey John, can you got 5 minutes?" And he'll tell me, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Call me now." Like it's kind of crazy. I don't do that often. I think I've only done that like twice. And each time I'm like straight to the point. But the amount of knowledge that we get and support from that side has helped the franchise so much more. We've learned a lot. And we get access to all these people that are absolutely incredible. And so I'm a big believer in who you surround yourself is going to be who you're defined and how successful you're going to be.
So that is exactly the power of connection, right? So it's your network, it's the people around you, it's who you choose. But I have to ask you a question. You know, you are a strong, powerful woman, whether you like it or not, right? You must know this. It's not like, "Oh, no, I'm not." No, you know you are. So I identify with you on so many levels, right? A business builder, and you know, you're doing all those things and you have 100 balls in the air at the same time. The thing that strikes me as kind of strange, not in a bad way, is you are such a powerhouse. How do you work with a partner? Like if you're such a control nut because you cross every T and dot every I, how do you maintain that respectful partnership together, being the control nut that you are? Not that that's bad, it's good.
So Matt and I are very opposites, right? Matt is very lax. You know, he wants things done. He's big on like communication. Like if he asks a question, he wants it done, things like that. I'm kind of like the implementer. Like he's the visionary. He kind of like, and we are both visionaries, but he's more so than me. And he's kind of like, this is what I'm thinking, and we'll talk it out. And then I just kind of get to work, and I just kind of like bang, 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 bang. Okay, this is done. And here you go. He also knows that if I'm not on board on something, I won't give it my all. So he always tries to make sure whatever it is that we're going to implement, if he really wants my full support, that I believe in it and I know it and I like it and I make it happen. So we're really good like that, because he's not the same as me. So we kind of balance each other out like that. And it works out. It works out. Don't get me wrong. We've definitely butted heads. I've told him how I felt on certain things, but we make a good team.
So you have the line drawn in the sand, like this is what I do and this is what he does. And we communicate on the regular, but we have two separate roles and we respect that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I see it in my, where I spend my time every day, that I am similar to you, that I'm the one that's executing. And that's my gift. That's my skill. And I can be visionary too, but I'm not like that crazy visionary out there. I'm looking for holes in things, and then I'm fixing them. Just so amazing. And, to be involved with so many things and to be so busy, yet you're a mom. And one of the things that I hear throughout all of this is that it's all about you doing it with your husband. You're doing it with your husband. He's, he knows every step that you're making, and you agree as a couple and as a family. A lot of people don't have that. So that's really beautiful that you take that time and you stop to make sure that he's on board.
Without my husband's support, none of this would have been possible. So, for him, my husband is he's very different than me. We are not the same. He has a job. He works at the Long Island Railroad. He loves his job. But he's very passive, and he's not as outgoing as I am. He's very introvert, right? Yeah. And he becomes an extrovert when he's around the right people. I guess I'm an extrovert. Sometimes I feel like I'm an introvert, but everybody says I'm an extrovert. And but we balance each other out. And I always tell him what I'm thinking and what I want to do. And he always supports it. If he doesn't like something, he tells me right away. Or if he's scared about something, he'll tell me. But everything's worked out pretty well so far, knock on wood. So let's make sure that keeps happening.
So let's talk about the being scared thing, because as entrepreneurs and business owners, you've done this and you've replicated it. So you found a recipe that works, right? You love the franchise model. Even though you've done it so many times, do you get scared still?
Not about home inspections. What makes me scared sometimes is like right now with the market the way it is, any business owner that says they don't get nervous at nighttime, I think they're lying, because I feel like I get nervous at nighttime sometimes, right? But we're blessed that we may not be as busy as like during the pandemic or the year after, but our phones are still ringing. We're still booking jobs. We're still doing all this stuff. And for that, I'm thankful, because I see a lot of other companies going under right now. And we're hiring and we're doing all this stuff. So I am thankful. I feel like if you don't have some type of fear in anything, then there's something wrong. Like there always
your eyes aren't really open.
Yeah. There's always going to be some level of fear. Home inspections, I can do like the back of my hand. I'm not scared when, anything home inspection related. Yeah. When I do a home inspection, I always tell this to inspectors, if you go to a job and you don't have a little bit of nervousness, like be aware of that feeling, because you're going in there a little bit too cocky right now.
So one of the things that I've noticed about you, so we met, and so we RCG we do a lot of classes at Main Street Success. We love that, you know, we have this group of people that we do these every month classes for our realtor partners. And it's such a well-run machine. And the thing that always warms my heart is, and it's an important part of business and growing, is that your team loves their job. They love you. They love the relationship that they have with you and the business and all that you set out to be. How do you maintain that?
So I am huge on communication and teamwork, right? I'm a firm believer, teamwork makes the dream work, but I'm also very transparent with our staff. Like I tell them, okay, these are our goals. This is what we want to hit. These are the expectations. And they see the growth. Like for instance, Will, he's been with us since the beginning of Inspection Boys. Like he was the first person we ever hired under Inspection Boys. So he's seen it change. He's seen it, you know, so much more than what it was. And I want them to believe in the vision and see the vision so that they can picture themselves in it. And I always tell them, if you see yourself in this vision and you want to be part of it, we'll make room for you and make sure you have your own success.
It's so important. And you know, you can tell when you walk into that space. So that space houses a number of your different businesses. So you know, most people, when they come in to take a class, they're only seeing what's here, but in the back, you know, is the inner workings of your organization. There's lots of people there. And when you really see it, so for anybody that's ever gone to Main Street Success, gone to one of your classes, particularly the evening ones, when you turn that room from a classroom to a party, it's almost like, okay, everybody stand back, and all of these people come out from everywhere. And in the blink of an eye, you go from a classroom to like this big party room, and everybody's, you know, all your people are smiling. And I've gone to so many events where, you know, there are people from Inspection Boys, they're just so happy. It's after hours. They don't care. They're all in it. They're committed. And that's a testament to you. So whatever it is that you're doing is totally working. But I'm just amazed. So if you had to give somebody at the beginning or the middle of their career advice on, you know, there is no success without work. So other than the 4-hour work week, reading that, like what's some practical tips that you can give somebody that wants to achieve success?
So recently we had somebody reach out to us in another state that wanted us to buy their business, right? They were a home inspection company. They did really good numbers and they had a really high profit, right? So by looking at the P&Ls, it just seemed like, oh, wow, this is a no-brainer, right? And then when I started talking to them, I was like, okay, well, how much time are you doing to all this? Like, are you inspecting? Like, oh, well, I do about 70% of the inspections. And I'm like, all right, right there. I just said, all right, I'm going to stop you now. Like, we can't buy you, like, because you're too involved. Right. I said, there's nothing wrong with having your business and growing your business. I said, but there's a certain point where I stop my involvement. Like I'm always involved in everywhere, but I give my team the trust that they need in order to get their jobs done. Right. I tell them, this is how I want it. I show them how I want it, what I need, everything. They start to implement. So I told him the same thing. I'm like, this is what you need to do. So I gave him the whole guideline, everything that he needed to do. And I said, when you do all this, reach back out to me and I would love to then discuss further about acquiring your business. Your business will be worth more too. And I said, so I'm literally telling you how to make your business worth more and what to do. I said, but right now I can't buy you because you're too involved. So I think early on, I started applying all these rules to my business on scaling. Right. If I wanted to scale, I needed to put the right team in place and I needed to put the right people in place and train them. People hate training, like business owners, they absolutely hate training. They don't want, like, I got a text the other day from somebody like, oh, I hate training. I just Zoom everything and I give it to them. I tell them, figure it out. I'm not that way. Like, I will train you. I will show you how to do it. so that you are comfortable. And then I'll give you Zoom recordings. I don't mind that, but I will be hands-on with you, show you every step that you need to know until you're comfortable. And then I give it to you and I tell you, this is your responsibility. This is your baby now. You need to take care of it. And as long as everything goes well, you won't hear anything from me. And so because I give that to my staff, they appreciate it and they really take it seriously, and they just keep taking more responsibilities and learning it, as long as they know that they have the support, which support comes down to franchising. I learned that in franchising is business owners become more successful if they know that they have a support line.
That is such fabulous advice, because, you know, we see that a lot in real estate, that the agents are working until they're 70 and then they don't have a plan. So their business is them. You know, the system that you're talking about is very similar to how we build the military, in a lot nicer of a way. But
Yeah.
it's an age-old theory of, if we can train people the best that we can train them, we're building an army of us, and it makes us more powerful, makes us more productive, and makes us more profitable.
Yep.
Amazing. Is there anything that I didn't ask you? Because I feel like you have so much wisdom in that young brain of yours that I feel like I need another hour. But is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share?
I mean, you know, I am an open book. I think I want people to know that, because anybody could come to me. I have other home inspectors that are my competition that come to me all the time and ask us questions. I am an open book. What's great about how I choose to scale our businesses, it can be applied to any business, which is exactly what I'm doing with Main Street, exactly what we're doing with ATAG, Zooming Group, and all these other businesses. We're applying the same principles. It's just different businesses. So I'm an open book. You don't have to be scared to talk to me. I just want to help people. I'm big on seeing people be successful. And if I can help change any lives, I'm here.
Brigitte Malik, you are wonderful. It is my pleasure to know you and to work with you. And you've just exemplified what the power of connection really truly is, right? You have these people you're surrounded by, you're helping each other, you're talking to each other, and you're giving. Thank you so much for joining us for the Power of Connection. We'll see you next time.